We're dealing with a lot of methamphetamine.
How would you describe your life?
Chaos.
Ah.
Yeah. My head felt like it was getting cooked, and he's just full of rage and full of, you're on fire.
Once they get to that rawness core of who they are and what's happened, then you start to install health and well-being.
Tēnā rā koutou katoa, nau mai huri mai ki, ka huri te tai.
Where we look at the effects of methamphetamine on the planet.
Watching services come through, I wish that I had that.
This is the first time I've actually been able to have control of my life.
I need to do something. I can't just let my nephews and nieces suffer, you know.
Kia ora rā koutou, e huri mai ana ki tēnei hōtaka. Podcast with Nix and Pio. See the way I put your name first, Nix?
Yes.
Yes, alphabetical.
Just so exactly how it should be.
Yeah, and of course our manuhiri, Rhonda, tēnā koe.
Tēnā koutou.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Nice to see you two again too.
Yeah, we were just before talking about kina, weren't we?
We were.
We're trying to do a deal.
Yeah. We're trying to just plant the seed in Rhonda for her to get,
The boys out
to
there.
get out
Yeah.
there. Yes,
For medicinal reasons.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Right. I could fall over and collapse. So hurry up, you guys. Hey, Rhonda, your mahi, your dedication, your passion. Tell me about your what you do and where you do it.
Okay, so what I do is I'm currently the kaipaka haere of Whakaoranga Whānau Recovery Hub.
Yep.
We're a little organisation in Kaikohe that I think hopefully makes a big impact in our community. We were started in 2020, which is just before COVID hit,
Yep.
by a young girl called Jane Beamsley, and she had a personal journey of addiction.
Right.
And she'd come up and stayed with me for a couple of months before going into Higher Ground in Auckland.
Yeah. And Higher Ground is a rehab.
Yep,
Places,
and it's one of the toughest rehabs in the world.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, it's pretty much with Higher Ground. They say get a glass, that's you, throw it on the ground and smash it,
And rebuild.
and then rebuild it all back,
Oh,
re-glue it all back together, and that's apparently what they do with people. And so it's a very hard rehab. A lot of people don't make it. They get discharged or they leave.
Yeah.
Jane, to her credit, she graduated. And she came back to me in what we call in addiction language for post-treatment care.
Yes.
She wanted to give back to the Kaikohe community. She's not from there. She grew up in Rotorua, of Te Arawa background, but her koro was Naira from Waimamaku.
Yeah.
So, we had no idea what we were doing. We came up with a trust deed, we created a trust, and we just started working, and we were all working for love.
Yeah.
And just pretty much Fire D jumped on board with us. You met Fire D last time, beautiful wahine with a 10-year, clean and sober history now. And she would stand out on the footpath pretty much and pull people in that she knew were using. And so we just started from there. We've been going 5 years now. We're in the main street of Kaikohe. We're funded, luckily enough at the moment, by the ministry under the Tuakana Teina.
Yeah.
And I employ a small team of 10 staff.
Well, that's
And
not
what
that
we-
small.
Yeah. What we do is we provide bespoke education. So when you're dealing with people in recovery, one, their timing's got to be right. It's got to be they've got to drive it.
Yeah.
We get a lot of whānau that come in, and this is what Jane wanted. She wanted somewhere where if you were an adult mother of an adult son who's, using P, where do you go?
Yeah.
Who do you ask for help, you know? And so we just wanted somewhere where people could just walk in off the street. That it might be the addict themselves wanting help. It might be a whānau member wanting help for someone. And just create a safe space where we can actually help people get into recovery if that's what they choose. Sometimes we have family members that come in and they want their loved one to get into recovery, but they're just not ready. And it's having those hard conversations with people.
Yeah.
It's showing people what's enabling behaviour and what's, about clear boundaries. So, so we've got an amazing team. We've morphed into getting people out of jail. for email addresses, and that's okay, because what we did was we try and pick out people whose underlying criminal history is by addiction.
Right.
You know, so it's been fueled by addiction. People
Yeah.
are fried off their face and they go and commit a burglary. And
Yeah.
so what we've got to do is separate the crime from the addiction. And if we can deal with the addiction, then we can change behaviour. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they come and they live with us. We've got therapeutic communities, which means, you know, they're adults.
Yeah.
You know, they get their own little like motel unit or cabin.
Yeah.
We're not a jail. So, you know, the community love to hold us to account when someone, you know, breaches or does something
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah,
But,
yeah,
you know, at
yeah.
the end of the day, they're adults.
Yeah.
What we do provide is they come into the hub every day. It's compulsory, and they do classes. And so we all have always said as Māori, we know what works for us. We
Yeah.
know what rocks our boat.
Totally.
So they come in, and Monday is mahi toi, that's art. We
Yeah.
all know that, you know, you talked about with me last time, the red brain and the green brain.
Yeah.
And we know that there's research that shows that creativity and working in creating an art helps us click into the right brain.
Yeah. The green
It-
brain.
yeah, the green
creative.
brain.
Yeah.
It helps us rechannel our pathways, our neuro, whatever they are, flash words, you know, to the brain.
Yeah.
So they do that. We do anger management, which we call manu pukariri. You know,
Yeah.
we've got a sixth sense of humour, Māori, so we change everything to suit ourselves. So we call our anger management angry birds.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. Yeah, so that's and that's 50 hours of intensive, and that looks at triggers and core beliefs and all that sort of stuff.
Man.
It's an amazing course.
To go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd love it. We do AOD, which is the you know, the breaking down what addiction is,
Yeah.
how it affects our bodies, all that dopamine and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. The science, eh?
Yep, the science of it. We do te reo Māori.
Aye.
We do mahi pūkenga, which is teaching our men going out and killing a sheep.
Yeah.
You know, killing a cow, how to chop it up, what part of the meat is this, that, and the other thing, and going diving, you know. And this is where sometimes we clash with our colleagues in probation and EM bail, because they think we're spoiling our whaiora. They can't see the therapeutic value in some of our programs, and they question what we do. And my answer to that is, hey, you just do you, and you let us do us, because we know what works for our boys. And taking someone that's come from Otara, grown up all their life in the city, he Māori,
Yeah.
never been diving,
Yeah.
can't go and get a kai for their whānau.
Yeah. And then what happens to that young person when they hand that kina over to their nanny, their uncle, or to us?
Yeah.
You know, but it is, in all seriousness, you have the sense of worth.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
mana
Yeah.
goes up,
Yeah,
That
but
works for us.
you've also got to drill it back, and this is where, you know, I shouldn't have to do this for people in corrections.
Oh.
You know, it's just that mere fact of giving you that kina.
That's
Pio.
right, that's
but
right.
if we backtrack it, first of all, we've got to learn the seasons. We've got to know what Tangaroa's up to today.
That's right.
You know, are we going to get spat out? Are we going to be able to see? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Is there a rahui on? You know,
Yes.
it's all these things, and that's all about ko au, who am I? You know,
Yeah.
and I'm Māori. He Māori aho.
Aye.
You know, so it's connecting them to our culture. So our whole philosophy at Whakaoranga is kaupapa Māori. What does that mean?
Yeah.
That means connecting people to their culture, because the answers are in who we are. And some of our whānau are so disconnected, they don't even know their maunga, their awa, their marae. So it's about reconnecting them and making them feel good about who they are. You know, so so that's what we do, and we have the best job in the world.
I've just been blown away.
Just only that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's huge.
Yeah.
we take them on pro socials. We climb maunga.
Pro socials.
Yeah, pro socials is teaching people who have never had a Christmas without getting plastered
Yeah.
how you can actually have Christmas at the beach and not drink,
Yeah.
not get wasted.
Yeah.
You know, so because they've never done that.
Yeah.
We might think that's bizarre, but they've never done that. So just recently we went out to Whangaruru at Gary's Tūranga Waiwai.
Yeah.
Our boys were diving every day. One of the locals came down on his bike, and of course, what did he have? He had a box of beers on the back.
Yeah.
He didn't know we were in rehab. And he comes down, and then once he got talking to us, he realised it was not appropriate. But he shared that with us. He said, I thought I'd come down and have a beer with you fellas, but I won't do that now. But we had a kōrero, you know. But one of our boys that was there, you know, he's there because he's got an issue with alcohol. He just said his whole life was growing up, if we're at the beach, we've got a chili bin full of beers.
Social gatherings.
You know?
Well, that's not just a Māori thing either. That's, you know, growing up with all my Paka surfing mates, mate, who's got the beers? You know?
And that's fine if it doesn't take control of your life. But these people have lost their lives to their addictions. They've lost a lot. So it's teaching them that we actually can go to the beach and have a great day without the beer.
That's right.
You know, without getting wasted.
But further down the track, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can go to the beer and have a couple of cans after a dive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people can.
Yeah.
It's about controlling. That control, you need to regain it. Eh?
Just
and some people can peel, but some people have to admit that they can't.
Yes.
You know? And so Matua Stu always brings this up in class, you know, and you met Matua Stu, I think he's the guru. You know, he says he can't drink. End of story. And so when he goes anywhere, you know, some well-meaning whānau, they'll go, oh, come on, guys, have a beer. You're cured now, aren't you? You're 20 years clean. You're cured now. And Stu goes, you want me to have a beer? You sure you want me to have a beer? Because I'll have a beer. And then I'll have that beer and your beer and all the beer. And then I'll probably smash your face in. And then I'll probably kick that over. And then you still want me to have a beer? And they'll go, oh, no, it's all right, cuz.
Cup of tea, bro. Well, good on him for his strength. And,
yeah, because you're right. Some people can have a beer.
Yeah.
And it's not an issue. But for us, when you're in addiction and in recovery, they talk about, you know, some people just have to be abstinent. You know, and Nix, you'll know this.
Yeah,
you've got a personal journey. Hey, some people.
I was even too scared to have a Panadol.
Right.
After when I came into recovery, because I was just so scared of picking up another something, like just as simple as a Panadol. So when I would be in pain, I'd be like, nah, I'm not going to take that. And time is the healer, right?
Yeah. And some people in recovery, they'll do that. They'll go to the dentist, and the dentist will want to give them some drugs, you know, and they'll go, no. You know, because they're too scared of going back down that dark path again.
Wow.
You know? So, you know, I don't have a history of addiction. So, you know, I'm very blessed and fortunate, you know. And I guess what I love is about sharing my life with my whaiora. So, you know, I get the joy of seeing some of them. Like last year I took them to Poto, and they all had their little tents that they'd bought from the warehouse, you know, their little bubbles, and they're putting their tents up. First time in their life, Pio. These are grown men, never been camping. You know, they went fishing, they caught a fish. You should have seen their faces. Never been fishing.
Don't tell me that that's not medicine. That's medicine, man.
Taking them on the horse on the beach, you know. So I get to witness all these things, you know. Just a couple of months ago, I took them all down to gel with one of my other kaupapa whānau, which is Influence. And we go all over the world and do marathons. And I just got back this year from China. I did the Great Wall. And so I took some of my boys, hand chosen, down to Tongariro to do Tongariro and to blend with my Influence whānau. And it was just beautiful. You know, some of them seen snow for the first time. You know, climbing the maunga, going swimming under a beautiful waterfall. You know, and I
it's just there, right?
Oh, look.
But it's your whakaaro, your thoughts, and the chains of your mind. You don't see that stuff, you know.
Well, if you haven't been exposed to it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you know.
Me and I had a good childhood.
Oh, look.
You know, with what my parents say.
Some of us, we had a blessed childhood. You know, like you met Dan last time, you know, and I was sitting with Dan. We're sitting in the middle of nowhere, you know, down in Poto, in a paddock, watching horses.
I know Poto.
Yeah, you know, watching horses, because I play polo cross, and I take the boys to watch me play, you know. And we're sitting there, and I said to Dan, this is my normal. This was my normal, Dan, growing up from 13, riding horses, coming along. And I said, tonight, because I had to warn them, I said, tonight, all our whānau will sit around the barbie and they'll have a barbie and they'll have a drink.
Yeah.
And there'll be no fighting and there'll be no raru.
Yeah, no crosswords.
And we leave all our stuff lying around. No one takes anything.
Yeah.
And then the next morning we'll wake up and we'll play again.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was sitting there and he says, you know what, Whai, you're so blessed. This was not my normal.
Oh.
Yeah.
He said my normal was the minute the beers came out,
It's on.
everyone drunk. Then there was a big fight.
Yeah.
And then the drugs came out and then there was more fighting and, you know. And he just said, wow, I wish my normal had been the same as yours.
Arohei.
Yeah, you know.
Arohei. Well, it can be. You know, from now on.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I loved about Pio said earlier. What you guys are doing is yous are changing the whakapapa for these men, because when they have their children, yous have set this template and exposed them to all this awesome stuff, camping, diving, da-da-da. They will want to carry that on with their children, and their children will carry that on as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's also challenging our tāne, because I'm really hard on our tāne, but it's because I love them so much, you know. As I said to them, you know, you have to look, you have to start being smart and look around the room. When you're sitting in a courtroom, look at everyone around you. They're all getting paid. Often they're more than often white.
Yeah, yeah.
Their whakapapa is they came over from England and Australia, criminals.
Yeah.
They come from convicts.
Yeah,
We were here first. We were rangatira.
yeah.
We
What
come from
happened?
chiefs.
Yeah.
We come from warriors.
Yeah.
You know, something's changed. Like,
yeah.
we need to regain ourselves. And so
Yeah.
I challenge them, you know, to live your best life, you have to start changing behaviours that don't serve you well,
Yeah.
don't serve your children and your wahine well.
Yeah.
You know, you are the po in your whānau. You make the decisions. You're the po, just like me, when they come to live at my place, because I have them at my own home. I say to them, my tāne, you know, passed away, so I'm it. So for me to protect my mokopuna, my whenua is drug-free,
Yeah.
alcohol-free,
Yeah.
conflict-free.
Yeah.
We don't do domestics on my whenua. You want to do that? Haere tonu, you know?
Yeah.
And I've said to them, you have to create that for your mokopuna, you know? So, yeah, that's all we can do, is sow into them.
Thank you.
You're inspirational. I'm sitting there with a big grin on my face going, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And you know, we live in different worlds to you know, the tāne and stuff that you look after. And it saddens me sometimes that a lot of my colleagues don't even know the world you talk about exists.
No.
You know, and quite often they're quick to criticise, but they don't have any idea. They never look at that. You know, we talk about that iceberg. They see that negative behaviour above the surface, but never look deeper to go, why is that person behaving like that? There's a reason. You know, and it's complex. You know, I see people say, well, you wouldn't have the problem if you didn't do the crime. You dumb tickle.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
Thank
you
you.
know, my question, Nick, my question, I went to a, without getting political, a New Zealand First AGM. And
Okay,
they were
we're going to have to cut this off now. no, carry on.
and they were talking about gangs. You know how they love to get on in the gangs. And so I couldn't help myself. So I stood up and I said to the whole forum, can I just get a show of hands of how many of you have been in a gang?
Yeah.
None.
Nice, Rhonda.
How many of you have been in jail? None.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you're fucking talking about. Hey, you don't know what you're fucking talking about. So you want to fix gangs? Talk to gangsters.
Yeah.
And let's just not delude ourselves.
Yeah.
A gang is a whānau.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So I challenge anyone, you know, I've had the privilege of walking alongside Dan for the last 2.5 years. He was born into a whānau that were affiliated to a gang, a well-known gang.
Yeah.
What did we think he was going to grow up to be?
Yeah,
A brain surgeon?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he'll be an accountant.
A vet?
Yeah.
You know? He grew up being what he was surrounded by, and he was very good at it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, for all the negative connotations, and
Yes.
he'll tell you that himself. But let's not penalise him. Let's work with him
Yeah.
and help create a different future. And we don't do that in jail. That doesn't happen in jail.
Don't you stop calling it corrections.
Yeah.
Nothing gets corrected.
Yeah, you know. So we've just got to help people deal with childhood trauma and all the things that some of our whānau have had but in institutions that we put them in, you know. And let's just change here and change here.
Yeah.
That's how we change our Māori. We change their thinking and we change their hearts.
Yeah.
And the only way you change their heart is connecting them to a culture that many of them have been disconnected from.
That's right.
And they don't know how beautiful it is
Yeah.
and how perfect it is
Yeah.
and how it can actually help direct your life, you know? So, yeah.
I
it's
love
like,
it, Rhonda. Thank you for everything that you fellas have been doing for everybody. Because we've heard such awesome, you know, the boys in there.
Yeah.
And they speak so highly of you.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah, and we need,
And you're not even in the room when they're doing it. That's even, you know, they're speaking highly of you when you're nowhere to be seen. So you've really made an impact.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm very blessed to walk alongside them and I love my job. Some days I do think to myself, why didn't I become a vet? Or why don't I work at McDonald's, you know? But
Yeah, no. Well, I'm sure. Well, we're lucky. We're lucky to have you in our space. No
Thank
reira,
you.
te tuihine, ko pau te wā, engari tēnei te mihi kia koe. We love you. Thank you for what you do and who you are.
oh, and
Tēnā
thank you,
koe.
you too, and have a beautiful Christmas.